Most dogs don't want to be aggressive. Dogs want to have their needs met, and if they can have those needs met without resorting to aggression, that's the course of action they'll pick. Just knowing this makes it a lot easier to deal with a dog that is acting aggressive. That said though, I want to reiterate that aggression is serious and you should never put off dealing with it. Most dog owners are not usually well equipped to solve this sort of problem on their own, so it's generally best to consult a dog trainer or an animal behaviorist. Don't waste time either, do it right away. The longer you live with the problem of a dog that is acting aggressive, the more difficult it's going to be to correct. I can tell you too that the dog trainers I know want to see you right after the first incident, and they just hate it when people come to them saying, "He's bitten 3 people. What? He's bitten 3 people and you didn't see a professional after the first bite? You didn't think you had a problem on your hands?" That's just demented, irresponsible, and wrong on just about every level. An air snap is a warning, and not necessarily an indication that you have a dog that's going to be acting aggressively habitually. It's a bite, however. It's most definitely not a warning and should never be ignored. What is aggression? Aggression in dogs is the same that it is in humans. A deliberate attempt to injure someone or to intimidate someone by threatening to cause an injury. But when you're considering what aggression is, you also have to think about what it isn't. Not every act on the part of a dog constitutes aggression. As an example, some dogs smile differently than others. We usually think of dog's smile as the lips being pulled back and the teeth visible but not bare. Some breeds though, the Australian Shepherd is one example, tend to pull their lips back so that their gums are visible and their teeth can look pretty scary. To know whether a dog is being aggressive or simply smiling, you need to look at the rest of the body language. More on that in a bit. Growling is another thing that doesn't necessarily mean aggression. Sometimes growling is just growling. Many dogs growl when they're playing, and some dogs even growl when they're feeling particularly happy. Rottweilers are known for this. They might growl when having their tummies rubbed, for instance as a way of saying, "That feels good, do it some more." Some breeds are simply more talkative than others, and growling doesn't invariably mean that the dog is acting aggressive. Of course, that said, it's worth keeping in mind that growling can be a precursor to full-on aggression. When that happens, the growling dog is telling you, "I would prefer not to bite you, but I will if I absolutely have to. Just please don't make me have to." Another thing that you should keep in mind is that a dog who is about to bite might not necessarily growl beforehand. Generally speaking though, the time to worry is not so much when the dog is growling as it is when a growling of the dog stops. That means that the dog has decided, alright, enough talking, now it's time to get physical in a huge way. This is a good time to mention that it's not a good idea to discourage growling in dogs. When a dog growls, he's delivering a message. In many cases, dogs that don't growl before biting have been corrected by well-meaning owners. They've been taught that growling is frowned on, so they dispense with it and they go straight to the bite. So how do you identify a dog that is acting aggressive? Take a look at the dog's body language. Is he standing stiffly, staring at you, throwing his weight forward and raising his hackles? These are all signs that you may be in trouble. Most of the time you won't see these behaviors from your own dog towards you. These are generally the things you need to worry about when encountering strange dogs. If you're concerned about aggressive behavior on the part of your own ordinarily loving dog though, there are some things to watch out for. Signs that your dog is acting aggressive. If you're watching this video, I'm thinking that you may already be concerned that your beloved pet might be a threat to you at some point. Here are some warning signs. You're afraid to take things away from your dog. You're unable to approach your dog when you try to put him off the furniture. You're afraid if you're afraid to take your dog for walks because you worry that he might bite someone or try to fight with another dog, or if you're constantly telling people to keep their distance because you're afraid they might end up being bitten, then you definitely have a dog that is acting aggressive. You have aggression issues that might not be directed at you, but if they're not corrected, the outcome could be very bad indeed for someone else. If your dog bites someone or harms another dog, you could end up being sued and your dog could end up being put down. Reasons why your dog is acting aggressive. Let me point out yet again that there is no such thing as random aggression in dogs. There is always a reason, and dogs can have any number of reasons for displaying aggression. The final word. The random aggression in dogs doesn't happen, and when it appears to happen, it's still not random. There is always a reason for aggression in dogs. Dogs don't just suddenly turn. When aggression in dogs appears to be random and mentally illness has been ruled out, it's generally the result of humans making mistakes or misinterpreting the aggression as a sudden form of randomness. If aggression is a problem in your dog though, it really doesn't much matter if it's random or otherwise. It has to be dealt with, and if you can't handle it on your own, you need the assistance of a professional trainer or animal behaviorist. Look at the cause of the aggression. What happened before the aggression? Was the dog surprised or tormented? Did someone make a move that might have been misinterpreted by the dog? If the aggression really does seem to have no reason, could the dog be ill? Has the dog been evaluated by a veterinarian to rule out brain tumors, Lyme disease, or other conditions that could lead to aggression? In the final analysis, I think that all I can say is that it's reasonable to assume that your dog loves you and trusts you, and if it seems that he's behaving out of character, it's up to you to find out why. You may need the assistance of a veterinarian or an animal behaviorist, but the responsibility for initial diagnosis is yours, and so is the follow-up treatment. You owe it to your dog and the people and other animals that he may come in contact with to ensure that he is safe, stable, mentally healthy, and, if aggressive, that he has non-destructive ways of channeling that aggression. I don't want you to end up in tears because things have gone horribly wrong, and your beloved companion has ended up on the receiving end of a needle loaded with euphonol. Do everything you can to identify the cause of your dog's aggression and then deal with it, so that you can enjoy many happy, fulfilling years together. Thanks for watching, and to learn more, visit www.SimplyForDogs.com.